All right, without further delay, let's get started. I know Mackenzie is on the call. Mackenzie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. So, Mackenzie, it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Everyone, welcome to our final webinar of the series. We're thrilled you're able to join us or to be listening in through our web link here. But I'd really like to take this opportunity to discuss what your race week is going to look like. So a few of us will be chiming in with details on what you're going to experience when you arrive in Leadville, but we'll be going over an overview and then details of what to expect when you come into the town. Let's do the next slide. So our agenda for today is going to consist of reviewing the race kits, your race week checklist, bike mechanics. We actually have Damo on the call with us, race week, event day, and then post-event. Next slide. So here's our Strava leaderboard. So congrats to Alan Starnes for taking first place in all 3 categories last week. Definitely feel free to continue to use Strava for tracking during your training in these last few weeks. Of course, no pressure, but it looks like Alan's going to do quite well on race day. Next slide. All right, so your branded race kits. So we went ahead and sent out the tops and your bib shorts to everyone. Hopefully you did receive those. If not, please do reach out and let me know. I know a few of you have reached out on some sizing issues, and we'll certainly do our best to exchange as we have availability. Make sure that you do try them on for size. Break them in with a long distance ride. We definitely want you to feel comfortable out on course. So make sure that event week is not the first time that you're trying them on. These are, provided as a race day gear identifier for us, for the mechanics and for the staff, as well as for your spectators. So if you have people coming in to Leadville as well, this is very helpful to be able to pick you out on course very quickly when you're riding by the aid station out on course and photos. This is a great way to be able to see who you are as quickly as possible. So definitely be sure to wear your kits. If you're having sizing issues with those bib shorts, get in touch with me as soon as possible. This also brings me to the next point of finding your best butter. So for those of you who have ridden before at Leadville, I'm sure you know that chasing could be a possibility. So definitely make sure to find the best chamois butter that works for you. Feel comfortable in that. We definitely want you to feel comfortable out on course. Next slide. Okay, so if Trapper's on, I'm going to let him review the race week checklist and what you should be bringing with you, and then what's recommended based on some of our staff's past experience with Leadville. Trapper?
Yeah, I am here. Can you guys hear me all right? Hello, hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you.
Good.
Yep.
Yes, I can hear.
Excellent. So a lot of this, you guys, I would say is common sense, but it's so easy to forget things. I don't think I shared this story on my last call with everyone, but showed up to the start line with one of my good friends about 5 years ago, and we're unloading our stuff out of the car, and he realizes that his shoes are back at the condo in Keystone. So wherever you're coming from, make sure that you have a handwritten checklist that you can literally go through. In your head is not going to be good enough. Nerves are going to be high that day. You need something that you can see visually and literally check off with a pen. But certainly the most necessary components are going to be your shoes, your helmet, your gloves, your bike. Sunglasses, I would say, are an optional thing, but certainly really nice to have, especially as bright as it'll be and as long a day as we suspect. Sunscreen, paramount. The last thing you want is to be out there for 10 hours with no sunscreen, because you will be miserable, particularly the next few days. Your seat bag repair kit, this is something that, to each their own, but assuming that everyone in this group has made the conversion to tubeless tires, and if you haven't, I highly suggest you do so for performance reasons, handling reasons, speed, and ease of repair. But in a seat bag kit, you would have something like a couple of CO2 cartridges. You want the high volume ones that are for mountain bike tires specifically. Your small road bike CO2 cartridges might do the trick, but they're not going to fill a mountain bike tire. So go for the high volume, obviously one of the nozzles that fits on that. And then also in your kit, you want to have a boot. It's called a boot. It's basically, Park Tools makes them. It's a piece of thin vinyl with adhesive backing that if you do get a cut or a puncture that doesn't seal with the sealant in your tire, you can literally slip that inside, create a barrier inside the tire, and then fill it with air. And very last but not least, certainly have a spare tube that is obviously the same size as the tire you're running. Those of us that have mountain bikes with different size tires, I know I've been out on the trail before. You can make a 27.5-inch tube fit a 29-inch tire. It's not easy. It's hard to fit a 29-inch tube in a 27.5-inch tire. So this stuff, again, it seems commonsensical, but it's worth making a note of, because otherwise it's going to be rough out there if you find yourself in a situation. Now, the good news is everyone out on course is going to be super friendly, and they're going to want to help. So if you do find yourself stuck on the side of the trail, there's a really good chance you'll be able to flag someone down, and they'll have the ability to help you. Technically, you're not allowed to take outside support, but that's just the nature of mountain biking, and it's the nature of this event. Finally, water bottles. Can't stress that enough. I think the most common mistake that people make is underhydrating during this race. It's rare that people overhydrate and develop hyponatremia, which can actually dilute the water in your body and cause just as many issues as being dehydrated. But whatever you're using now, stick with it. If you have a particular hydration mix, stick with that. Otherwise, water by itself is okay as well. Just make sure you've got enough volume and that you're preparing for whatever aid stations you might have, or if you're taking neutral support, Centurylink support, that you've got capacity to carry bottles for at least 2 hours, I would say, at least 2 hours worth of hydration. Beyond that, recommended for race day morning, headlamp. I've used one. I've not used one. It's not that big a deal, but it certainly helps if it's dark out there. And then certainly a jacket for the race corral. And this may not be common sense to many people, but we will have people on the sides of the corrals. They're volunteering, ready to take a jacket or a pair of rip-off pants. But you're going to want to stay warm. We're lining up at 5:30 a.m., getting in those corrals, and we're at 10,000 feet in Leadville. And even though it's the middle of August, it can be in the 30s and 40s. So you want to be sure that you're able to stay warm while you're standing in the corral, and then you can rip that stuff off and toss it to someone in the crowd, one of our volunteers, something like that, so that you're rocking and ready to go as soon as they fire that gun. So any questions about necessities race day? If not, let's go on to the next slide. Certainly, you guys know you can reach out to me anytime. Happy to help with specifics on that. But Mackenzie, I guess you'll take it over with bike shipments.
Absolutely. So this is the listing that I've received thus far on those who are looking to ship their bikes. Please just make sure if and when you do ship your bike, that you shoot me an email with the details, and then I'll just make sure on our end that we're tracking that and making sure that it's received so that we can get that over to our bike mechanics to rebuild for you. If I did miss you off this list, go ahead and shoot me an email as well. Or if you're no longer looking to ship, no problem. I can update that as well. Next slide. All right. Damo, are you on the call?
I'm here.
Hi, welcome.
Hello.
I would like to just review a quick schedule overall, and then I'll let Damo go ahead and take it over for some recommended supplies and the support that they'll be providing throughout the weekend. So as far as schedule goes, they will be available, David and Damo, to help with any bike shipping, unpacking, reassembling the bike, and then weekend tune-ups on Thursday and Friday. So that would be before the dinner, and then on Friday, right after the warm-up ride, and then after the luncheon. So any of those times would be great to chat with them if you're feeling like things are a little bit off, or if you need, some other support throughout the weekend. Those are great times to check in with them. And then Damo, if you want to take over supplies.
Sure. I don't have a whole lot to add. Just to say that we're gonna be basically a mobile force here, so we won't have everything that a fully stocked bike shop would have. So if you guys have any major issues that can be addressed before Leadville, I would highly recommend having that taken care of at your local bike shop before you fly out. And just in case there's something that comes up that we're not able to address with our mobile tools. A couple of things. Just one note on what I'm sorry I didn't catch his name, but the support bag that you bring with you. As far as a boot goes, you don't really need to get a specific tubeless boot. If you get a cut out there, you're not going to be able to put a boot on and reseal it. If you get a cut big enough that the sealant is working, just plan on putting a tube in your tire. Don't bother trying to reseal it. And bring a couple dollar bills with you, and those work amazingly to seal up cuts enough that you can put a tube in there. Other than that, I guess I'm open for questions if you guys have any. But what's actually probably best is if you just email me directly. And Mackenzie, I believe they can get my email address from the website. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's under your profile. But anybody can also email me to get in touch with you directly as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, was that a question?
No,
yeah,
no. All good. All good. So if anybody would have any questions, you guys are welcome to shoot an email to me or Damo directly.
Hey, just a quick question. This is Kurt Page. When do you want the bikes to be there? I'm going to be actually out there at the end of next week and do a little bit of pre-riding. Can I leave my bike out there then, or do I need to, get it back to you guys?
I think that's a Mackenzie question.
Yeah, so I would recommend you can email me directly, and we can talk about options for if you are needing to sort of store your bike. If that's something that would be easiest for you, we can see if there's space within our local office there, and if that will work with both schedules.
Great, thanks.
Is there any other questions? I guess not.
Hey, Damo, sorry.
Sorry.
Looking at the slide, it says oil versus wax on the lube. Which do you recommend?
Oil, 100%. Wax is going to be useless on a race day like Leadville. Leadville's long, it's dusty, it's dry. Wax is going to last you maybe an hour. Oil, but we'll have tons of lubes out there, and we'll be washing the bikes and looping them and getting them race ready for you. Just so you guys know, I'm a font of information on this kind of stuff. I've been working in pro cycling for a long, long time. So please, if you guys have any questions at all about equipment, anything at all, even if you think it's trivial, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to share my experience and and recommendations with you guys, because the last thing you want is a mechanical on a race day, and it's going to be a long, hard enough ride without mechanical issues. So please take advantage of my experiences.
And on that note, it's Ted Kennedy here. I should let you know he's being very humble, but I found Damo through Tom Danielson. I'm sure you know him, the World Tour Pro, 8th in the Tour de France. And Damo was the mechanic for the Garmin team back in the day. So, I mean, talk about experience. We are really, really happy and honored to have a guy of his caliber, you know, at our working for us. So, yeah, he's being very modest. So I thought I should jump in there and let you know about some of his background.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Nobody has any more questions. I'll turn it back over to Mackenzie.
Thank you so much, Damo, for joining us. So next we'll launch into the schedule overview. So this is also on the website, but I did want to throw this in here in case anybody wanted to press pause on the playback that we'll post on the website. But this does sort of include an overview of the whole weekend for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So next we'll launch into each individual day. So Thursday, some of you may be arriving on Thursday, you may be arriving a month in advance. Whenever it is that you will be joining us, we're very excited to open the weekend with our welcome reception and dinner. And that will be held from 5 p.m. to about 7:30 p.m. There you will receive a welcome bag with a full schedule of the weekend, your branded jacket, and that does match the bib shorts and jersey, a race packet, which will include everything that you would be receiving if you were to go pick up your packet as a general athlete. So that is a private packet pickup. Also, the athlete guide, we'll be providing a printout of that so that if you do have any course or other race-related questions, you can definitely review that. And then aid station bags for you to put anything in for us to have out at the Centurylink Executive Challenge aid stations for you. The attire will be business casual, certainly nothing super dressy as we're in Leadville, but this will be an opportunity for you to mingle with all the other Centurylink Executive Challenge participants and their guests. And then finally, the location in order to arrive to the venue would be if you just type into Google Maps the Nordic Center, it will bring you to the correct address. It's a very casual intersection, but the Google Maps will definitely get you there. If you have any questions or concerns on how to get to the location specifically, I'll be providing further details in an event week email, but in case you're looking to find that in the coming weeks, that's your best way to find the location. Next slide. All right, so Friday. So we'll start the day with a spin out ride. Chapler will be leading this ride. We'll start at the Centurylink Executive Challenge House at 8:30 in the morning, and then end at the Goo House, which is actually side by side with the Centurylink Executive Challenge House. And then Goo will be providing post-ride shakes. And then mileage and route link, that's available for you there. It's a casual 16 miles to get you spun out and race ready. And then the bike mechanics will be available if you get out on that ride and feel like there's something that feels a little off. That's definitely the time to reach out to them immediately to show them what's going on and have that fixed before race day. Next slide. So your attendance is requested at our athlete meeting, the luncheon, and the bike tune-up and supply drop-off. So the athlete meeting is for all athletes. It's considered mandatory, and we highly, highly recommend going, as this is the meeting where you'll be able to receive up-to-date conditions, but more importantly, it's for those who have attended Leadville in the past, they know that this is a absolute pump up from some of our highly experienced Leadville riders and founders of the race and some other special guests. So this is highly recommended for you to attend. Following, we will have our luncheon at 1 p.m. at Wild's Green Hour, and you actually enter from La Resistance. The image of the restaurant front is posted on the slide. And then we will do a Q&A with Chopper for any last minute thoughts, ideas, concerns. This is definitely the time to address that. And then we'll also have some special guests joining us who are experienced Leadville riders and who will be able to answer any other questions that you might want to ask of them. And then finally, we will have a bike tune-up or supply drop-off at the Centurylink Executive Challenge House following the lunch. So any final bike tune-ups, this is your time. And then this is also an availability to drop off your supplies that we'll have at the aid stations. So we will have provided the bags for you at the dinner the previous evening, or you're certainly welcome to drop off your own bag with those items. Ted, do you have anything to add to these items?
No, that covers Friday for sure, but I just wanted to point out that the aid station bags, or special needs is called sometimes, you could also drop those off with us 5 o'clock or 5:30 on race day morning. So you could either do it the day before or race day morning, whatever is better for you.
Perfect. Next slide. All right, the day we're all waiting for, race day. So race start. Parking, I think, is definitely going to be on the mind of those who are staying at Copper Mountain or other surrounding areas to Leadville. So this is important to note the time limits and restrictions on where you're parking. So residents, the local police officers and police department will be out looking to write tickets based on some past experience of those who have been at Leadville. So make sure that you're parking either in a public lot or somewhere that that's posted for you to legally park during Saturday. And then speed limits. So make sure that you're adhering to any local speed limits. Sometimes they, may be down to 25 or so. Just make sure that spectators and you on your way into Leadville are following those as the police are in heavy force that weekend. Then Centurylink House will be open at 5 a.m. We'll have breakfast and coffee. Even if you're not a breakfast or coffee person that morning, we'll also have that available for spectators to check in and feel ready to support you throughout the day. This is also, as Ted mentioned, the time to drop off your aid station supplies as well as on Friday. And then finally, showers. This is definitely available to everyone when you finish the event, and something that, from what I hear, is highly coveted. So make sure that you bring dry clothes, and then we'll have towels provided for you there. And then finally, spectators are welcome. So I know that a few of you have reached out as far as your spectators are able to join at the Centurylink Executive Challenge aid station, and that is absolutely available. Just please note that it will be a long day and fairly hot out there. So we'll have supplies, water, food, those sorts of things, but it is quite a long day. So we definitely want to stress that. Next slide. So to start corrals. So I've added in on this slide those who have requested to be in something other than the blue corral, and then Quinn or myself will be confirming those qualifying times and final confirmations. We'll make sure to send out an email for which corral you're in on race week. Our standard corral start is blue for Centurylink Executive Challenge athletes. So make sure that if you do have a qualifying time beyond that, that you do shoot me an email in advance and as soon as possible with that qualifying time. Next slide. Aid stations. So Ted, I think this may be good for you to chime in on. Do you want to take this one away?
Sure. So you'll have 3 different chances to access the bag that you leave with us, either on a Friday or Saturday morning. One is when you hit Twin Lakes at the 40-mile mark before the huge climb up Columbine. Don't mean to scare you, but it is a big climb. Stop there. You'll see our Centurylink Executive Challenge tent. We'll have flags, and we'll even let you know exactly where the tent is. Usually is on the right side, just past the dam wall, 3 or 4 tents in. There's a neutral support, and then we'll be right there. So you can access your bag before the Columbine climb, and then at 60 miles when you're after you've come screaming down from Columbine, you can access it again, and then you can access another area with another mechanic at the pipeline return, which is at about 74 miles. So there are other aid stations, as Mackenzie's noted on here, that are neutral support, but there's 3 times that you'll be able to access the the Executive Challenge lifetime mechanics and your own particular bag. So should be no problem with nutrition. You don't have to carry 10 pounds worth of stuff with you. Just leave it with us. Make sure you stop, pick it up, and then quite often the mechanics can do a quick little fix for you if something's mad, if the gears are skipping a little bit, and always a good idea to get a little bit of lube on the chain after all the dryness.
Quick question, Alan. Quick question on the aid stations. If we carry 2 or 3 bottles, are we able to drop those and pick up new bottles as we go through the aid stations, or are they going to be like water bottles where we kind of fill up the existing bottles that we have?
Yeah. If you go to the regular aid stations, meaning the neutral support, you'll have to pull over and fill up your existing bottle. If you leave bottles with us at the 3 opportunities where we are, then you'll be able to switch them out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sure, of course.
Great. Thanks so much, Ted. And just go ahead and note those supplies, and those supplies are what's going to be at the general aid stations, but then we'll also have supplemental snacks, drinks, your aid station bags, ice-down towels, sunscreen, Band-Aids, and pickle juice. So those are just a few items to be on the lookout for as you're coming through. And if anybody has any special requests, I'm certainly open to gathering that for you. Next slide. All right, so the race finished. We will have a post-race party available at the Centurylink Executive Challenge house. So as you come screaming through that finish line, head on over to the house for a hot shower and towels. And then we'll make sure to give you your fresh clothes. At 6 p.m., we'll start the pizza and beer, and then finally the award ceremony at 7 p.m. The awards will look very similar to these cans, and we'll have wooden tokens inside for our first, second, and third place finishers within the Centurylink Executive Challenge. And then finally, if you do need bike pack-up assistance, this would be the time to get with our mechanics to have your bikes packed up and ready for ship out. Next slide. All right, Sunday. So this is the general award ceremony starting at 7:30 a.m. And our first place winner will be given on the overall stage ceremony. So for those who are coming to the events and competing here, that first place winner has some extra drive to come into that first place to be on that stage. And then finally, following that award ceremony, the traffic for the drive back is very heavy. So make sure to plan accordingly for any flights out. If you have any concerns on timeline, please feel free to email me and we can address those concerns together. And then finally, bike ship out. If you would like some assistance with where to ship out, how to ship out, and those details, certainly get in touch with me as soon as possible so we can solidify that.
And Kenzie, if I can interrupt, Kenzie, make sure you go to the awards ceremony. Make sure, I know some people have left early and missed the awards ceremony. That's where you get your belt buckle. And if you're under 9 hours, you get the big, huge, beautiful gold belt buckle. If you're under 12 hours, you get the big, lovely silver belt buckle. So at the awards ceremony, on Sunday morning is where you get the buckle. So make sure that you don't book a flight so that you'll miss picking that up.
Great. Okay. This is your time for Q&As. All of us are available here to answer any questions that you have on race weekend. Does anybody have a question to start off?
So would it be possible to get 50 or 60 pounds of cubed ice at the aid stations?
50 or 60. I think I can probably do that. What is this in reference to? Perfect.
Having been up,
I will make a note.
Having been up and done a couple of pre-rides on a hot day after you've been going for quite a while, a cold drink goes down a lot better than a warm one.
Absolutely.
We will have your drinks. We will have the drinks that you give us. We will put those into coolers. I can't say they're going to be incredibly frozen cold, but they will be kept cold.
Hey, if I can, you guys, I want to touch on that cold beverage comment. Psychologically, a cold beverage is amazing, but physiologically, it doesn't absorb as well. You almost want to keep it lukewarm or body temperature. So just keep that in mind. If all you're drinking is ice cold water, it's going to require more energy for your body to absorb that. And that race day is all about energy conservation.
Hey guys, this is Casey. I had a quick question. I was wondering if you guys are going to have drink mix at the aid station. I don't think I saw that in the PowerPoint. What kind of drink mix will it be?
Casey, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't see in the PowerPoint presentation if you'd have any sort of drink mix in your aid stations and what kind of drink mix it would be.
Great question. That was not something that I have ordered currently based on most of the supplies coming from the general aid station. But if anybody has any requests, I can gather a few drink mixes of different types, as I wouldn't want to order one type and you not have what you normally drink during training for race day.
Yeah, and Kenty, I think what he's referring to is what drink will be served at the neutral aid stations at Leadville, and I actually don't know the answer to that right now. I know that we're talking to some different electrolyte drink companies. Whatever you have trained on, though, if you leave it with us, then you'll have 3 chances to pick it up during the race.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Hey, I'll go out on a limb and just say that it's probably going to be goo Roctane that they'll have ready to go at the aid stations.
So there is definitely what is listed under the supplies is Hot Shot and goo gels and Roctane. So if Roctane is a powder mix, then that will definitely be available.
Mackenzie, earlier you recommended extra time to get back to the airport on Sunday. And can you give a general time frame you would recommend?
That is also a great question. Ted, the award ceremony generally runs until about what time?
10 o'clock. I would say 10:30 at the latest. And then it's going to take you 2 to 3 hours to get the DIA. After that, then you're going to want to add an hour, a couple hours, I guess. So it's at 5 hours, 10 o'clock, 2, 3. I'd say 3 or 4 in the. Why don't you make it 4 in the afternoon to be really safe?
Anyone else have any questions for us?
Hey, Mackenzie, if I can jump on, this is Trapper. I'm just going to make a couple comments. One about the speed limit you mentioned. They'll go over this in the athlete meeting on Friday, but this is not just for the athletes. This is more so pertaining to support crews, family, so on and so forth, trying to get out of the town of Leadville to get to aid stations morning of. The cops crack down on that like crazy because it's a mad rush. So there's no need to rush is the point. So make sure to tell your friends, your family, anyone that's with you, don't worry about speeding out of town to get to an aid station. You'll get there in plenty of time. And then the other thing I want to mention about, kind of preparing yourself psychologically for this event is whether you've seen the course, ridden the course or not, we will ride the final bit of the course during our spin out on Friday, and that is the section called the Boulevard, which is probably one of the biggest gut punches in mountain biking that I've seen, because it starts at about mile 100. So the good news is we will have all seen it, but I want everyone to begin visualizing themselves crossing a finish line. If you haven't done that before, it's an incredibly powerful practice, because that is the thought that you're going to latch on to every time you think to yourself, why the hell am I out here today? Keep thinking about that and the pride you're going to have when you do cross that line, and all of the people who are going to be so proud of you. That's huge. That's one thing that always gets me across the finish line when I'm feeling really sorry for myself on race day.
Great. Thank you so much, Trapper. If no one has any final questions, we'll conclude this webinar, and feel free to reach out to any of us. Our emails are listed on the website under each profile, or you're certainly welcome to go through me for any questions for anyone on the call.